It is a pure night in the sky. No clouds are in sight. It had been a tiresome, devastating winter, which resulted in multiple government shutdowns. But this is the first real spring night. The warm weather feels like a godsend and has melted all the filthy snow away. The snow is an eyesore, full of litter and dirt, and is no longer cute or exciting to the natives of DC. The moon is luminous, round and full. People are walking down U Street, happily going into bars and clubs. The sidewalks are jam-packed with people eager to explore the night. It is a warm spring evening. Terrell, a local businessman with a dark skin tone, is walking up the street. It takes him a while to find parking. Parking is always busy and stressful in the U Street area, an area with a long history of being filled with drugs and crime. The city and its chocolate people have made many strides through the rise of Marion Barry.
The true champion and protector for the people of DC, which is the very reason that the image is showing him smoking crack and having a liaison with a prostitute, held little weight in the decision to vote for Marion Barry again. Marion Barry is now dead, and the city does not have a zealot protector or economic coalition to prevent what is to come. As Terrell walks through the streets, he bears witness to large, happy groups of whites drinking in the excitement of the night. The stream of black faces is becoming less as the area continues to be gentrified and bleached through high-priced housing and the absolute rise of median household income, which is now listed as being $90K. It will go higher based on the current trends of the city. Blacks are getting priced out and booted to former white suburbs that were now run down and had their resources removed along with the whites that left the area. Terrell is the definition of a typical, educated African American, underemployed, hoping for rises that will never come, and training their future white bosses and managers. Terrell is ready to unwind and enjoy his night. It has been a long day at the office, so Terrell decides to enter a local singers bar named Five Dreams. The bar is one of the last designated black areas of U Street that focuses on or exemplifies black culture. The bar is vivid. The floors are new. The walls are freshly painted and littered with all kinds of paintings and posters of older and current distinguished black legends. The Asians know how to make money off of blacks and are becoming new masters in the environment. Black female bartenders are exposing their skin and grand cleavage for the world to see. Their outfits are skin tight, all black with a patent leather exterior. They resemble the dominatrix women in S&M porno movies. Their voluptuous asses are peeking out of the patent leather straps. Some are real, some fake, but all juicy, firm and plump. A walking wet dream. There is a black male manager, fronting as if he owns the joint, proud of the looks of admiration he receives from the customers. The bar is upscale and the bar is full to capacity. There is a live band playing current renditions of R&B and hip-hop songs. The place is live. As soon as Terrell enters, he notices an attractive woman that stands out from the crowd. The woman is somewhat tall, 5'10", with long natural hair, frizzy and delightful, large breasts, and a shapely backside. Terrell feels she is obviously out of his league. The woman is all by herself and seems to be scanning the room. Terrell instead goes to the bar and orders Hennessy on the rocks. Another very attractive girl with obviously fake hair is sitting next to Terrell. The girl smiles at Terrell. She bats her fake green eyes with long false eyelashes. Terrell thinks that she is fine, and her blatantly fake ass is vicious. Both cheeks are distinct figures and shaped through her pants. It looks like two basketballs moving up and down through her backside. Terrell cannot help but to stare. He is marveling at the shape of the ass, regardless of the ridiculousness it represents. Terrell has a weakness for a fat ass, and this girl is using her power as she curves her back so elegantly to bring all the attention to her ass. He tries not to stare, but it is too late. The fake lady can see first all over Terrell. He has not been with a woman sexually for a couple of months. The fake woman can sense the dehydration emanating off of Terrell's presence. Gatorade, Pedialyte, and coconut water will not be able to quench Terrell's thirst, and the fake lady figures him to be a good mark. Terrell ends up buying the woman 4 shots of Patron, and after conversing with her, he finds out that her name is Pamela. Terrell had 3 shots himself, and after getting the bill, he realized that he had spent $105. Terrell tries to remain calm as he looks at his bill and signs it. Still feeling optimistic, at least I will get her number so I can take her out at a later date, he thinks to himself. Terrell pulls out his phone and asserts,
"It would be great to talk to you some more. May I have your number?"
Pamela smiles.
I'm sorry, I don't give my number out to strangers, but it was great talking to you.
Pamela proceeds to walk to the other side of the room. Terrell's face contorts, and his whole body feels a rush of humiliation and embarrassment at what transpires. Everything Terrell has read on dating and talking to women at bars direct him to not take such an incident seriously. But somehow this incident bothers him. And although he tries to work up the courage to talk to another lady, he feels introverted. So Terrell decides instead to buy a cheap beer during the happy hour and watch the lovely woman enter and exit the bar until he regains his confidence. Just as he begins to nurse his pride, the tall, beautiful woman that Terrell initially sees when he arrived starts walking towards his direction. Terrell figures that the beautiful woman is going to greet one of her friends that is standing by the bar. He thinks to himself, "This woman is beautiful. I wish I had some money or was famous." To Terrell's surprise, however, the attractive woman walks over to him and says,
"Hello, how are you?"
Terrell is shocked. In Terrell's mind, this lady is in an entirely different league than him. And though he tries to think of something great to say, nothing worthwhile comes out of his mouth. So he decides to keep the conversation generic by responding with,
"What brought your fine self into this area? I'm Terrell, by the way. What's your name?"
The lady has alluring eyes. She looks at him sternly and grabs his knee as she breathes.
Do you want to leave?
With a burning intensity, Terrell is apprehensive. He feels something has to be wrong. He gropes the back of his pants for his wallet, sneakily brings it around his lap, and takes a quick peek while is talking to the beautiful lady. This woman is going to be very disappointed. Terrell leans over and whispers in the girl's ear.
Only have $40.
While nodding his head up and down. Terrell anticipates that the attractive lady will walk away. The beautiful woman smiles at Terrell.
I don't want your money. I want you. And you can call me Jennifer.
She then grabs him by the hand and escorts him out the bar. Terrell feels good as Jennifer accompanies him past the other bar patrons. And as he passes Pamela, he feels great knowing that she is watching him leave with a prettier woman. As Terrell focuses on Jennifer's grip, he notices there is a absolute strength that he has never felt before when he holds the hands of a woman. Jennifer is being very aggressive, similar to how men pick up and target women. Terrell's apprehension steadily grows, but he continues to walk along the side of Jennifer, holding hands. Terrell looks at her shoulders and then checks her Adam's apple and tries to pay attention to the octave of her voice. Could this be a man? He wonders. They go to the corner of the street and are about to go through the crosswalk. Terrell pulls Jennifer back and says,
Car.
He uses the opportunity to cop a feel of her crotch area and finds that Jennifer is indeed a female. Feeling relieved, Terrell allows Jennifer to continue to lead him. It feels good to have a lovely woman on his arm. And as he begins to perceive that his status is now higher, he thinks about all the places he can take Jennifer and show her off. Jennifer lures Terrell 4 blocks away from the original location onto an isolated street. Terrell is not used to being led away anywhere by a woman. Terrell views himself as a hunter regarding pursuing females. This is the first time he feels different. He almost seems like he is being targeted by her, like some prey. Jennifer then escorts him into an alley where puddles of water remain from the earlier rain. Terrell becomes nervous that Jennifer might be setting him up for a robbery. The situation seems very shady, leaving Terrell skeptical. Noticing that the alley is surprisingly clean, it becomes apparent to Terrell that this area has been officially taken over by the hipsters and newly gentrified whites. Recycling bins were in the alley and filled with the right recyclable material, which is different from general black areas where there are no recycling cans and where people put literally anything into them. Terrell still walks with Jennifer despite the uneasiness in his mind, as he finds her too attractive to express doubt or complain. Jennifer's eyes eventually rest on a large blue van and start walking towards it. Terrell looks at the shabby van with its many rust spots and immediately thinks, there is no way this woman is driving a van like this. He begins to think of other kinky, risque encounters he has had in the past, though truthfully, he has never met a woman who wants to do it in a shabby van. This bitch is strange, thinks Terrell as he continues to walk towards the van. She then grabs him by his hand again and starts kissing him. Jennifer snatches at the door handle, but the vehicle is apparently locked, and she is unable to open it. Jennifer then seizes the door itself and pulls hard and opens it wide while popping the lock. Terrell looks at Jennifer and sputters.
What the fuck? How did you do that?
Jennifer then throws Terrell into the van forcefully and closes the door behind her. Her skin turns bright orange as she reaches over to Terrell. She grows in height and rips through her clothes, exposing her six-pack abdomen and large, round, bare breast. Her teeth grow inside her mouth and look sharp as knives. Her long tongue slithers outside her mouth, and she flicks it back and forth like a snake eyeing its prey. Terrell tries to fight her off, but she is too strong, so his attempts to slither and squirm away are to no avail. Jennifer holds him firmly. Terrell throws a punch, but she catches it deftly with one hand and smirks at Terrell's meager attempt to stop her. Terrell can feel her long, sharp nails penetrating his skin. The horrifying realization sinks into Terrell that he is now prey as Jennifer's body continues to transform. Her eyes are now a bright, leafy green, and her hair is sky blue. Jennifer's hair shifts back and forth from being full and frizzy in a large afro state to being straight, long hair down her back. She holds Terrell's fist tight and then grabs his neck with the other hand. Terrell musters up all the strength he has to push Jennifer off him, but it is useless. Jennifer is much stronger.
Get the fuck off me, Jennifer.
Jennifer smiles wickedly with her sharp teeth and grins from ear to ear and hisses.
You can call me Juniver now.
The skin of Juniver's hand opens to reveal a large square sucker-like appendage, dripping a venomous blue liquid out of the tiny needles that outline the square. Terrell struggles and attempts to move his neck around to avoid the attachment.
Why are you doing this to me?
Juniver thinks for a moment.
Because I enjoy it, and because I can.
Juniver attaches her hand to Terrell's neck as the teeth from the sucker penetrate into his skin. Blood secreted from his neck, and he feels a quick, sharp pain. Terrell then feels something inserting inside him through the sucker as if the blue fluid is flushing through him. His heart starts beating faster and he feels something extracting from him, though it does not feel like blood.
Terrell is paralyzed in fright, yet his testicles grow thick as an erection rises inside his pants. Terrell's penis is uncomfortably hard and bulging through his pants. He continues to try to push Juniver off, but she rips his pants off with one hand, shredding his jeans in a swift motion. Juniver's hand with the square sucker appendage turns dark black. Terrell tries to scream, but there is nothing but silence coming out of his mouth. The hand on his neck is inhibiting his vocal cords. His legs kick up and down, but this only seems to excite Juniver further. Juniver's elongated tongue rolls out of her body. She flicks it up and down his skin, tasting him. Terrell's large penis is exposed, and he tries to twist his body to get away. This movement excites Juniver significantly, and as she holds Terrell's wrist down flat below his waist, she spreads his legs wide and leverages her elbows on his thighs, pressing down, rendering most of his lower body motionless. The only part of Terrell's legs that can move are his feet and calves. Terrell is only able to wiggle them as she wraps her full lips around his penis and bobs up and down on his pole. Juniver has her bright eyes open as she goes up and down, sucking and slurping loudly with her tongue. Terrell looks into her eyes and saw her real eye color. It is no longer brown. Ultra bright green is staring back at him. Juniver stares deeply into Terrell's eyes. Just as a snake will stare into the eyes of a rat, it bites on the neck. Terrell feels blood rushing to his penis, while on the verge of losing control of his bearings. Without warning, Terrell erupts powerfully inside Juniver's mouth. He cries out with his legs shaking violently. Juniver smiles as she swallows every drop Generally, Terrell goes soft, falling asleep and starts snoring, but somehow he is rock hard again. He instinctively glances around at his surroundings, desperately seeking some sign of normalcy. The reflection gleaming off the scrubbed metal wall of the van displays a brown figure, different from Terrell's healthy, blue-black appearance. Terrell jerks his head downward to view his hands and notice they are now becoming dark brown. The terrifying revelation overtakes him. Terrell is losing his blackness. Juniper is not fazed by Terrell's distracting state as she eagerly climbs on top of his penis and begins to go up and down on top of him. Although Terrell feels Juniper's pleasurable grip and finds it to be rather tight and moist, he is in shock at what is happening to him. He observes his arms and hands and notices his skin pigment getting lighter and paler. As Terrell moves his head around on the floor of the van, he realizes that he no longer has any cushion on his skull. The coarseness of his hair is leaving and becoming straight. Terrell observes Juniper's firm breast and tight abs as she continues to grind and wind on his penis. Terrell feels his calves and hamstrings tightening as he ejaculates inside of Juniper. Juniper smiles and finds humor in his humiliation when he finally believes that this ordeal is over. Juniper laughs.
That one was kind of quick.
And then, for some strange reason, Terrell immediately became hard again. He could feel Juniper draining him and tries to remove her from on top of him, but it is to no avail. Juniper is too damn powerful. She is in pure ecstasy, absolutely high off of Terrell's melanin, and comes multiple times, twitching and giggling each time she does. She greedily continues to grind and hump on top of Terrell. Terrell keeps getting paler and starts drooling. He looks at his hands and arms. He is now officially a beige nigga. He ejaculates again and is shaking all over. Juniper shakes Terrell to keep him awake, then changes her leg position and gets off her knees. Juniper places her feet flat on the floor of the truck and is squatting on top of Terrell, allowing herself more leverage. She is sitting up and down on top of Terrell, hard, completely immersing his penis into her vagina, which is no small feat. Terrell had never been with a woman that could consume his whole 10-inch dick. His chest feels as if his heart is going to explode out his chest. Juniper is riding him so hard, and she is too wet and slippery for him to contain himself. Terrell's mouth runs out of drool and is completely dry. His pale body is starting to shake as he comes again and again, although rather painfully. The creature is able to feel his explosion inside of her as she keeps pumping up and down on him. As his eruption subsides, Terrell's eyes close and his penis finally goes flaccid. Juniper lets his arms go to see if there is any life remaining. The struggle from Terrell is completely gone. It was evident to Juniper that he was dead. Terrell laid in the van, fully nude, now pale without any pigment. The melanin from his eyes is completely gone, and they are now red. Juniper thoroughly drained him dry. As Juniper wishes her high could have lasted longer, she then walks out of the van and returns to her regular cover girl appearance as Jennifer. It is time to go back to the ship Juniper's appetite has increasingly grown more intense lately, and though her addiction and cravings are getting larger, she does not want to risk further exposure. The high is enough for the night.
Little punk, I caught you. Thought you were more clever than a cat, silly dog. And to really think that I could love you, I don't wanna hear it. Pack your bags, take a walk. If you would've stayed 1 second more, police would've found your dead body at the door. I would be in jail, hair pulled back, being interviewed for an episode of Snapped. I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. Say cheese, say cheese, say cheese, please say cheese. I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. Time and time over again, you dummy. You're swearing to the Lord, but the devil is a lie. Talk much and never fuck around. Funny, saw it for myself, new joke, old dry. If you think I'd be played for a fool, think once again, cause the joke's on you. Creep, creep, creep with my gin and juice. Let me clear my throat, cause I cheated too. Hey, I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. Say cheese, say cheese, say cheese, please say cheese. I set you up, I caught you, mousetrap. Say cheese, 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 say cheese.